A couple questions following up on JLOTS first.
Sure.
How long is the temporary pier going to be able to stay off the coast of Gaza given any fall weather that may be coming up?
So I don't have a timeline for you right now. As you probably heard Vice Admiral Cooper speak to this earlier today, weather conditions right now are pretty good throughout the summer. But I just don't have a timeline to put on the temporary pier other than to say it is designed to be temporary. This is not going to be a permanent way of getting aid in to Gaza by using the JLOT system.
Okay. And then I just wanted to ask you about I know the president announced last week that he had paused some shipments, one shipment of weapons to Israel. I'm wondering if the Pentagon has delivered any additional shipments of other weapons or the same kind of weapons since then.
So it's still that one shipment that has been paused, and those are those high payload bombs that we paused that shipment on a week or two ago. Security assistance does continue to flow to Israel, though. There have been shipments since going into Israel, but not those high payload munitions. Fadi?
Thank you, Sabrina. So on the Pier issue, the UN seems worried about the possibility or feasibility of getting this aid off the Pier to northern Gaza, where they say the need is most acute. Considering the location of this pier, do you have guarantees from the Israelis that these trucks will be able to reach northern Gaza?
We believe that the trucks will be able to reach the populations that need them most, which include northern Gaza. But again, that's really something for the UN to speak to as they're handling the distribution of that. USAID is, of course, working with the UN to ensure that supplies, whether it be food, water, medical, can continue to get to those who need it most. But it's really the UN that should speak to where they're going to target some of their deliveries.
Is it the UN or the Israeli occupation forces, since they are the party that is targeting aid workers, and they can block these trucks from getting to northern Gaza since they occupy parts of Gaza. So did you get any guarantees from the Israeli forces that they will let the UN distribute aid in northern Gaza?
So something that I think you should remember, Fadi, is that we've had the UN working within Gaza for a very long time, since the war started. So UN workers are familiar with some of the checkpoints, and we believe that through the deconfliction cells, that will enable these trucks to get to where they need to and as quickly as possible, and to the populations that need them most, whether it be in the north or elsewhere. We want to ensure, or we want to see the aid get to where it needs. But I have to remind you, and I know you know this, but the amount of trucks coming off of the pier is not going to be the same of what can come from the land crossings. So we have to see those land routes open. And the quickest way to get aid in, whether it be the north or anywhere else in Gaza, is going to be through those land routes. This is just meant to be an additive measure.
And finally, obviously fuel is very important to delivering this aid through trucks and crucial for medical operation in Gaza.
Yep.
Are you going to be delivering fuel as well, since Israel closed most of the land routes?
Right now, the focus is just on humanitarian aid, so that includes food and water right now.
Where do these trucks get fuel from?
Well, the fuel is coming in through land routes. We want to see those land routes continue to open. There's not enough trucks that have been going through on those land routes. That's something that every single conversation the secretary has with his counterpart, it is raised, and not speaking on behalf of others across this building, but it is certainly raised by other agencies across the administration. Louis.
Sabrina, do you have any indications that Hamas may actually intend to threaten the JLOTS system? And there have been these other incidents recently that didn't seem to indicate that there was attacks, but they weren't directly related anywhere near this marshalling area. So can you tell us, do you have any indications that Hamas is threatening, and is that a good thing?
We have been very clear, and I will say have tried to be as open and public as possible, that everything to do with this pier is about getting humanitarian assistance into Gaza. We don't have any indications that there should be any attacks on this pier, but should there be attacks either towards the maritime humanitarian corridor or around the marshalling area, that is going to directly affect Palestinian people, the people that need this aid the most. So if Hamas decides to attack this area, they are directly harming people in Gaza that are starving, that need this aid at a critical time. So we haven't seen any indications of that. We were able to secure the Pier in overnight. We're always assessing the security situation and working with the IDF, who's also helping provide security for our forces. But right now, we're just focused on getting that aid in.